Hello and welcome to the course Social Behavior and the Brain, an Introduction to Social Neuroscience. I am Dr. Ark Verma. I am an Associate Professor at the Department of Cognitive Science in IIT Kanpur. Now let me tell you what is this course and let me tell you a little bit about what to expect in this course. But before we go there, let me just explain to you the ground rules of the course that you've enrolled in and some information that might already be available on the NPTEL website. This is a 20 hours course, involves 40 lectures. You will get weekly assignments, and at the end, if you choose to do so, you can give an exam passing which you will get a certificate that you've done this course from IIT Kanpur. Now that the ground rules are aside, let us talk about this course and what we might expect to learn and understand in this course. Social behavior and the brain has two things. Yes, we're going to talk about the brain and we're going to talk about how the brain functions, how does it, how is it responsible for different aspects of our behavior. But what is this behavior that we're going to talk about? In this course, as opposed to the earlier course that I've given, the brain and behavior or introduction to cognitive neuroscience, in this course what we're going to do is we're going to focus our attention on social behavior. We are going to focus on our attention on the neural or the brain basis of social behavior. What is social behavior? Now look at this. Social behavior basically encompasses things like influences on our individual behavior and also how do we behave in presence of others. Who are these others? The others start from your immediate family, your parents, your mother and your father and your brother and your sister, and then your grandparents, and then your relatives, to people living in your colony, to people living in your city, in your state, your school friends, your teachers, political figures that you are interested in, Bollywood or Hollywood, film industries, or even philosophical leaders, even religious figures, and so on. So the social world starts with you, but it extends to all the people that you know and all the people that have or may have an influence on you. Not only varying in different areas of the world. Say for example, sitting here in India, you might be interested or influenced by somebody living in the United States or South Africa or America or Canada and so on. And you can also be influenced by people back in time from now. Say for example, you might be influenced by people who fought the freedom struggle for this country, or religious figures who've been here and taught us great things even before, much before we were born. So that is basically what social behavior is going to be all about. It is also, however, going to be about how do we understand ourselves. What kind of impression do we have of ourselves, as individuals as part of groups. So we are, for example, in India, part of a collectivistic society where even our sense of self derives from how the society views us. It is always, in some parts of the country, we don't say main, we say hum. So it is already inclusive of at least the immediate people around us, at least what we call our family or extended family. So in social neuroscience, or in this course called Social Behavior and the Brain, we will try and understand what are these different social influences that operate upon us, that moderate and influence our behavior, and then how do these social influences operate with respect to the brain. Also, another thing that we are going to talk about is our social behavior or how we behave in front of others. How do we form impressions of others? How do we evaluate whether somebody is trustworthy or honest or dishonest, and whether we sort of make them our friends or make them our partners and so on. Things like attribution, how do we attribute social events to others? How do we form impressions of others? How do we get attracted to others? What are our views about social topics, say for example, homosexuality, environmental conservatism, or other kinds of political ideologies and so on. So in this particular course, Social Behavior and the Brain, we will talk about a bunch of things. We'll talk about how do we understand ourselves, how do we understand our social world, how do we navigate this social world, what allows us to navigate through this social world, and so on, a bunch of things. All right. So this is again a very brief, a very short overview of what you might expect in this course. But trust you me, if you are a student of cognitive science, if you are a student of psychology, if you are a student of cognitive neuroscience, please understand that it is very important to for us that in the service of understanding the overall picture of cognition, it is imperative that we understand how cognition operates in the context of a social setting. Human behavior is typically not isolated. Typically we behave in front of others or with others, and both of these things actually moderate how we are going to behave. So it is impossible to understand the full story of cognition unless we have sort of made an effort to understand social aspects of cognition, aspects of decision making, aspects of trust, consumer behavior, and a bunch of these things. So I hope you will enjoy a lot in this course, and I'll see you on the first lecture very soon. Thank you.